Hello and welcome back to another week at DroneDJ. This week, the headline reads some drone delivery updates. We also have another story on a blue UAS drone bringing a new model or proposing a updated service. And then we have some DJI updates following those two. Let's start with the Swedish drone delivery company update. I believe this is the first delivery company we're seeing that's actually filing for bankruptcy, if I'm right.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing a lot of them either. I mean, drone delivery seemingly has slowed down, I think, on momentum in the VC world. Um, you don't see a lot of companies like posting huge, Series B, Series C's or anything like that. So it's all
We're
mostly now
also
being
not
funded
seeing
by
as
large
many
corporations.
PR release stories on, hey, here's a new partnership with a supermarket chain, right? Here's another
Yep.
partnership with a restaurant franchise. We're also seeing all those hype PR stories starting to die down.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where I think it's kind of people maybe got a little too excited about a lot of it, saying they could change. It's kind of how the tech
Or
world
your
works.
typical technology cycle, right?
Yeah, your cycle where
It's
there's a little bit of breakthrough in technology, the stories of the possibilities go way up, and then it kind of then like tapers down to where expectations are. Like we talked about, both of us have yet to be able to get any sort of drone deliveries near us. Like for me, it's never going to happen because I live too close to an airport. But like, just like in our areas, it's just nothing about drone deliveries from stuff that we can buy. But you know, it continues to grow into the government and more industrial, I guess, or enterprise type solutions where between hospitals and trying to get the stuff out to remote
remote
locations. It's
communities.
still
Yeah.
it still greatly continues to grow there. Just the consumer side, where like us getting our wings delivered,
Your
our pizza
pizza or
delivered,
chicken
just
wings.
seems like it's a little there's a lot more issues than just having a drone that can do it.
And good morning to our audience.
Good morning, Jim.
Circling back to the story, I remember about 6 years ago, we were seeing a wave of new drone tech companies that were being backed by your typical VC, especially Silicon Valley
Mhm.
VC. And then 2 3 years from there, there was a wave of bankruptcy, right, from the different US based innovation drone innovation companies. We haven't seen a wave like that. I'm not sure, if this is the first drone delivery company that's filing for bankruptcy, if this is a one-off case, or this is also signaling,
It
the
might
drone delivery companies that were targeting the consumer home delivery market, if there's going to be a slowdown, like an actual drop from that.
it's also just could be one, like that just did had
Yeah,
a
it could
bad
be a
business
one-off
case.
case. Yeah.
Just a bad
Um,
business case. Didn't have the right people running it to get the funding. So there could
Or,
be more.
as an innovation company, you have an idea that you start with, but that doesn't mean you stick to it. You're going to find
Yeah,
challenges, you're going to have to shift your directions, etc. The reason
yeah.
I brought up this story is because similar to a few of the US delivery drone delivery stories we saw, this one was also partnered with the
I
Swedish
see.
supermarket chain ICA, which is similar to Walmart in North America. Right. So they're following a similar pattern for sure.
Yeah, like it seems like it's kind of like a very similar type company to what we've seen over here, as in like their plan, like partner with the chain, try to get deliveries going out from those chains. It's just either maybe Sweden's regulatory doesn't work out, maybe although Sweden seems like the most. If this is going to work somewhere, I feel like it would work in Sweden, of all places. You know what I mean? Like it's just like they kind of always have just the cool stuff. But I guess other than maybe this is Korea, South Korea would probably be another one that would like if this is going to work anywhere first, it's going to work at like Sweden, South Korea, somewhere in Europe.
Well, we did cover a story about South Korea building the drone stations, right, with their
Yeah,
utility, like their actual utility towers.
yeah. So interesting to see that it's coming out of Sweden. I kind of had high hopes for Sweden to do cool stuff. So maybe it'll come back. Maybe they're just I don't know what their bankruptcy regulations are over there in Sweden. I know there's two different, like over here in the States, there's two different versions of it. You either like liquidate or you reassess and reorganize.
Right.
So I don't know exactly which
If it's going
ones
to
of
be a
these.
financial restructure, because they did say one of the main reasons for filing bankruptcy is lack of funding.
Yeah. So yeah, that seems a little rough. I mean, Europe is not a huge VC area.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts I listen to, he's an one of the investment podcasts I listen to. He goes, "The United States is a great place to make your money, and you spend your money on vacations in Europe. You do there's a lot of great VCs and a lot of great investments and equity firms here in the United States that love risk, and Europe they seem to be a little less so on the risk. So, yeah.
So maybe move to States.
Maybe move to the States.
Yeah.
Partner with Piggly Wiggly. If you know that chain, you're my kind of person.
Okay, second story. We have an update from Brink. When I first read the headline, I didn't know this was going to be a Brink product. It just says the 911 response drone can reach all locations within seconds. And then, as it turned out, this is proposed by Brink, which is part of the Blue SUAS manufacturers, right?
It's like the CEO of the company is like in his 20s, right? Isn't it like, is this the company where like a super young CEO?
That I don't remember.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I remember there's one where like the CEO, the guys like the CEO is like super young.
Yeah, that's the part I couldn't remember. However, what the company had proposed is their new nested drone solution. Have you seen their nested docks for Brink? Because I haven't seen the actual dock for. Oh, right here.
There it is.
Yeah.
It looks. I mean, that looks very CGI. It looks like that's definitely or is it though? It looks like it. I can't tell. Oh, I'm gonna set the scene. Someone's robbing a store. Gotta do it.
Someone spent the budget on making a commercial.
Yeah, of course.
Nice shot. Nice focus pulling.
Ife's getting into her filmmaking debut. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
I want to see where the nested station.
I'm gonna see if it comes up here. They gotta do it eventually. They're gonna send the drone. There it is. Oh, that looks.
Hey, so it is with a police station.
Yeah. Oh, who gets there first? Squad car or the drone? The race.
Well, the drone can do straight line. The car can't.
It's interesting that that's how you use it. I would see it more as like you want something more fixed instead of like something that's deployable.
I thought it would stay maybe like a community center, maybe city centers where they would nest them on the rooftop instead of at a station.
You can move around depending on where you want them. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, but you would want to put it you would want it on a roof. You wouldn't want it like in a parking lot.
Yeah, you definitely don't want this on the ground.
Although the shot wouldn't look as good if the drone came out of the dock and the cop car peeled out of the parking lot at the same time. You need that. You can't do that with a rooftop drone unit. So for the storytelling, it needs to be on the floor.
Right. I also wonder how good is the footage transmission, because we actually just did a remote testing demo last week with a client who was in western part of Canada. So we pretty much use the Flight Hub 2. We send a link to the client where they can see the live feed from the drone. It wasn't as smooth, transmission on the high resolution video, because we had two drones up in the air at the same time, providing one doing a program pass, the other one giving a on demand based on what client wanted to see. And it wasn't as smooth. Like, I mean, it's nice footage considering everything was remotely transmitted.
Interesting.
But it wasn't as nice and smooth as high resolution.
Yeah, interesting. They has the ability apparently to drop things. That's an interesting one. Being able to use it for delivering like first aid. Like
I feel like this is that in that environment with trees around it. Like, is that the drone automatically, or is that someone controlling it?
Oh, they give you the ability. I mean, it seems like they have the ability to control it. Although, oh, look at that great fire CGI work. But I feel like I'm trashing on it. It's actually pretty good. Honestly, like this, like if this actually,
I'll say first, it's a really nicely done commercial.
Yeah, I think the biggest. I don't know. I don't know exactly what first responders think of Skydio, because Skydio seems to be the leader, and if you're going to use any of the U.S. drones, it's going to be Skydio. I know we have our opinions on Skydio, which is you know, they're capable, but they're very much like you don't fly it, it flies itself type drone. I wonder if this is going to be like like if they can make that middle ground where it does have a lot of automatic and features, but once you take control, it very much like you're in control of the drone. If they have that, I feel like this could, and the software all works. I think the biggest part of everything is like the back end has all worked very, very well.
And also, if this is providing a first responder service, how well does the transmission work? Because the footage needs to be transmitted back to, let's say, command and control center, and it needs to be transmitted to the different units, right?
Yeah.
Who are responding to the situation. So
There's
I want to see like real time how well does the transmission actually work.
I hate to say it because I think I don't know if we're gonna mention this or not. Like the all the tariffs and the banning of DJ products. It is definitely not a great thing to do, because it definitely is pushing. It is definitely forcing public safety to be less capable in what they can do in the short term. I'm wondering in the long term it actually pays out, and there actually are companies like Brink who come on and like actually can replace DJI. Public safety, I feel like I'm less concerned about public safety drones coming on and getting good, because there are a lot of public safety companies out there trying to innovate. It's just like no one has. It's the we're not going to talk about this. It's just the issue with it is the consumer side, so we won't go into the problem with that. But
and we didn't want to have another episode of
we don't want to have another episode of us
US ban.
Complaining about bans. But I feel like Brink. I've just seen the ad, but I've heard they're doing good stuff. I would love to talk to these people. I should reach out and get to know them. But they seem like hopefully everything works out back end wise, and the hardware is just because I don't think it's really hard to mess up hardware. You just gotta buy good stuff, right? It's gotta like you can, but like as long as you put in good cameras into it, like you're good. It's all the back end stuff. Like
it's the flight controller, it's the obstacle avoidance, it's the overall user experience altogether.
Yeah, like. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to build like a good camera drone with a good camera. It's just you have to like have a good transmission system, a good flight controller, a good like just experience with it, and that's kind of like always up to the air.
I'll just say, out of an actual drone solutions commercial, this is the first one I've seen that's similar to what DJI does to their product promotion, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't even know. Like Skydio seems to be like their drones are being used everywhere overseas. like there's actually people who are pulling out drones and go see a little village before they they go into it. I don't know, but they seem a little too optimistic of what their drones are being used for. This is kind of seems like perfect of what like first responder drones.
It's just okay. There's a problem, or
search and rescue. Getting somewhere first before a squad car can. Getting just a better point of view of something. I'm sure the people who made it aren't like experts in criminal justice. I don't think 3 people are preparing to rob a store are going to hang out in front of the store and show off their guns. But
it looks like professionally done with at least some kind of advertising or commercial production.
Yeah, they did pretty well. We're reviewing. This article is really just us, or not article, but us. This segment is just us reviewing the commercial as filmmakers. That's all.
I'd like to see now actual user feedback to see if
I would like to get my hands on one and see if it's actually good. Like if I can just put my hands on it and be like, is this a good drone flying experience? And then see what officers say about it and see if it's actually once this actually gets out in the hands of units.
I just really want to see the video transmission part. Like how do they actually transmit the video to either the backend command and control, what protocol does they need, what video quality, is it from the remote controller, or how is it actually transmitted?
Gotcha. Yeah. There's a lot. Everything that makes this product good is stuff you have to like kind of see in the real world experience, and it doesn't come through in a commercial. Yeah.
Okay, well, along that, DJI does have an update on their enterprise system for the Mavic 3E series. We did test this last week, or this week. We're Friday now. We did test it this week. It was working really well. So you have almost like Alex was saying, it's almost like a virtual cockpit environment. Especially if you do a scan. Let's say if you do any modeling around a building, you may have other buildings and things around it, right? So how to scan it to avoid, let's say, hydro wires, avoid your construction equipment, avoid other structures. The updates did help a lot.
Hey, I mean, DJI drones just get better each update. I mean, well, sometimes they go dead backwards, but that's mostly consumer products. But for the most part, like, I mean, they always get better. With
On the enterprise side, integration is getting better. This is helpful for engineering, construction, and architecture, right? Which is what they call architect, construction, engineer. They're or architecture, architect, engineer, construction, AEC industries. It is super helpful if you're trying to get either progress update or scanning for model for inspection,
which is I've heard getting really popular with construction companies. Some constructions don't even care about it being like super precise. They just want a 360 like video for that day of what it is, and then they can just share that to their clients. That's all they want.
Yeah, so, it's progress update, it's video documenting, it's taking, number one, you see what's happening. Number two is you have records of it.
Now, like with this, you could actually, would this also let you refly that same pattern, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So that's, I think that's where like
it gets pretty good. You can manually do a pass and then you can repeat it.
Yeah, because I can do it with the Inspire. Like if someone asked me actually right now, like, hey, like I just want you to go to the build site and just like every 3 days or every day, just go and do the same pass. I would actually be choosing my Inspire over like my Maverick, because the Inspire, I can physically save a path. It might not be great.
It has the RTK, so using the
it has the RTK as well.
More precise.
Yeah, like the Mavic, I could get pretty good at the Mavic 3. I got like, okay, let's go up this altitude. I took off from this area and just do an orbit. But like I can actually find the exact same path with Inspire over any of the other consumer products I have. Which, by the way, I'm just saying, like DJ, like I have your Inspire 3. I don't need it. You can take it back. Just don't ask. But like I'm willing. This though, like having it just be like straight up, just like flying anywhere, just like take it around. That's kind of like huge for a lot of this stuff, because they just want it. A lot of people just want to see updates. They don't even care about the nitty gritty data, unless it's an engineer asking for it. Then they want to see all the nitty gritty data. But like if it's just like
this is actually
for clients, they just want to see how much taller has it gotten.
Or like I said, video documenting is when they hit critical stages before the next party or the next part has to come in. Just doing a quick pass, doing a scan, at least they have that visual documented. If something happens on the construction site later, once, let's say, concrete is poured, once everything is put down, you can't see, right? This at least gives you the record keeping, which is actually pretty important. The other part is this update really increased safety. Believe it or not, we crashed the Mavic 3E recently. And one of the reasons was because when you have direct sun, it messes up your obstacle avoidance sensors. So when you're doing an automated mission, it can't complete it because the sun hits directly into the obstacle avoidance sensors and it thinks there's something in front of it and it would stop. So pretty much one of my pilots had to disable obstacle avoidance and then went with the mission. And then obviously this is the season where trees really grow. So they crashed into one of the branches. So we had to send it back to repair. But with this capability, with the update, now they can do a manual. If the drone has, some kind of sensor, at least now they can do a manual flight, record it, make sure it's safe, and then go back to the automated flight.
Yeah. It's actually well, I crashed mine too, so I can't really say anything. So
you've got to have at least one crash. Just make sure at least it happens safely, right?
Oh, mine was not safe. I was reckless.
Going back to a final update, a couple of updates on DJI responding to pretty much the potential US ban. Is one of them is urging, so this is when we actually heard right here, where was it? There was a recent congressional testimony given in hearing last week. This is actually by police, fire, emergency medical services. And they're talking about pretty much, they're opposing earlier federal and state bans. Last week, when we were talking about the potential DJI ban, we mentioned the pretty much your local law enforcement, first responders, they should stand out at least to state their opinion. So this is happening. And then second, this is where lawmakers, right? So this is when Kirk, you're actually asking, okay, is it Republican leaders urging the Department of Defense to open investigation on drone advocacy alliance? Remember, you were saying, is this DJI backed alliance or is
Yeah,
it
it's a D.
ideal backed alliance? So we
Yeah,
will take a look at the drone advocacy alliance, and under above right here, where we see obviously all the different partners. And the first one, I'm just going to go back to the beginning right there. So
there it
the
is.
first one
DJI.
right there is DJI.
Is all telling this one?
Let's see. I don't believe, is this,
Uh,
oh, it is alphabetical. So ASI is there.
Yeah, and you
I don't see
interesting.
all
UVT. UVT is a US company. They do they pretty much they're the reseller for drones for public safety. Yeah, so
there are a few resellers here. There was also Drone Nerds, which is one of the resellers.
and since I met a lot of the UVT guys,
Drone
they're all US
software. Drone Link is remote ID, I believe, and Drone Nerds is their
the reseller.
Class, yeah, DSLR Pros. So yeah, a lot of resellers actually on there. However, what I wanted to say is I believe there's always the conflict of interest disclosure, right? If you're gonna have an alliance that's heavily backed by the actual equipment dealers, it wouldn't hurt to at least disclose the potential conflict of interest. Because obviously someone's gonna come out and use it against you to say, hey, you're talking about this because you're actually backed by the manufacturer, right?
But when you're and this is basically a what are they called? But basically when you're doing this, like you don't the people you're talking to know this. It's not meant for the public to know, what they're doing. It's meant, or at least it's meant to be shrouded a little bit in secrecy because you don't want to.
But
when you're lobbying,
I always believe
when you're lobbying the government, it's kind of
like in this day and age, the information is going to come out eventually. And if you want to be credible, if you really want people to believe you and support you, being transparent is important.
I mean, when you're lobbying the government, you don't care about what the public thinks about you. You care about what laws get passed for you. That's pretty much what it is.
There's that too, right?
Yeah. So,
remember last week we talked about it would be nice if a non-biased party comes in to do the actual study. What's the impact? What's the potential on data security? What's the impact on the industry? But the trick is they can be supported. They can be paid or supported actually by the manufacturer that's
the thing about
right?
This investigation by the DOJ is it's the DOJ, but by DJI to prevent U.S. drone ban. Well, yeah, no, duh. Like when U.S. company, and you're going to talk about the U.S. Oil and tech lobbies that ban the privacy bills and any sort of green technology like bills. Like, yeah, of course they're going to go against it. Like, it's literally their livelihood. Like, it's what they do. Which I would like they would do, like, hey, DJI, I want to probe into whether or not the DJI is being controlled by the CCP, which is what you're assuming is happening, but you don't have any.
Right.
You're not proving it is happening or not. So that's what they need to do. Although I don't know if that's what.
Well, like you said, accusations, on the political side doesn't always have to be backed, right?
Accusations don't have to be fact-based at all. I do like they did. I've been streaming through the blog post that DJI posted on the different facts. I mean, like they pointed out some pretty good, points. It's just stuff that we've all reiterated over and over again. How it's DJI is heavily used in the industry, and it would ruin. It would affect a large focus of a large group of people who use drones. It would also use that the DJI employees that work in the United States, which is actually a good amount of people who work in the United States. For DJI. So
it would be nice to also see how many small, medium businesses build their drone business around DJI drones.
The only thing about this is that, of course, this is a DJI blog stating facts for why you shouldn't ban DJI drones. Right. So no matter how much you want to believe them and how much they sound fine.
I wonder if the motion picture industry should come out and say, hey, if you ban DJI drones, we can't do any of the filming.
That's what I'm waiting for. Like, okay. The only reason why I think that might not happen is that if they have kind of, I don't know, Inspire. Who I want to know how much of the Hollywood industry uses Inspire versus uses like a custom built solution,
Free fly.
right? Free fly.
There's less and less free fly because free fly you're flying
It's
Alexa
complex.
Mini, you're flying Red Dragon, the budget is
Yeah.
too high. There obviously you always have your high, budget Hollywood productions, but the day-to-day is not that, right? Even your day-to-day, Netflix shows, they're happy with even Mavic 3 Pro, right? The Inspire 3 is already on the higher end budget for your typical TV shows.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see like if the Inspire is kind of like a drone, kind of similar to what the Phantom was, like kind of like it was being used really well, and it kind of just got replaced by the lower end products, getting better and better and better.
Well, I can't tell you how many actual professional TV commercials are using just iPhone footage. Like not just talking about entry-level drones replacing, let's say, the professional free fly, the bigger drone systems. Even on a daily basis, the professional cameras are being replaced to a degree, right? To a percentage by entry-level cameras.
And when you think about it, if they want a drone at all, like they should come out against this because, well, they wouldn't have a drone if they all got banned.
They wouldn't have options, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't. They literally would be like, okay, what do you want? Do you want AI CGI footage or free fly? And if AI doesn't work for you, then you have to spend thousands and thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands probably for a free fly, a fully out kitted free fly system, or find a way to make AI video work. Because other than that,
speaking from the cross the border on the north on the Canadian interest is okay. If you guys really
move north,
drones, we'll have more production in Canada.
Yeah, just move your production north into Canada.
Yeah,
that's probably what they'll do.
That would be one of the benefits of, hey, come film in Canada. We can use
what was it? Toronto and Vancouver.
And Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get pretty good business,
those are
I guess.
All popular filming spots, and plus there's tax credit.
Tijuana, like they're not that far from Mexico either. They can go down to Mexico and do some stuff. So
Yep. Okay, so that's all the stories we got for you this week. The main update is a drone delivery company's bankruptcy in Sweden, and then we talked about Brink with their very nicely done commercial for a 911 response drone. There is DJI's Mavic 3 Enterprise update on the firmware, and we recapped on DJI's response to the potential US ban, as that is an evolving story that will bring you updates to as they unfold. That's everything we have for you this week. We will see you back next Friday.